All right, looks like runners are getting fired up with their seeds. We'll probably see both of them do a quick Alt-L to pop up and confirm they got the right seed loaded, but I think we're just about ready here.
Oh no, Faye. That sounds awful.
Oh my god, that does sound like a nightmare.
Eiko making sure to spam the good luck button. I like it.
Is there a special hotkey bound to that?
Yeah, I don't know what it is offhand though.
Yeah. Well, since we're almost ready, I suppose now's a good time to go ahead and just say hello, everybody. Welcome to another round of the Ori 2 Randomizer tournament hosted by Jaychalke. Today's match, we have Jaychalke versus Eikotheblue in the second round of the winner's bracket. On commentary right now, I am Artemis Dragmere, or you can just call me Artemis or Artie. And co-commentating with me is Shafe.
Hello. I just want to make sure that the runners have the correct seed. I've asked them to give me a quick Alt-L so that we can check it up on screen. And then we'll give them a countdown once they give the go-ahead. Jaychalke remarking to us in the booth that he is nervous. Eiko is confirmed ready. Waiting on Jay, and then we'll get running here.
This is Jay's first match of the tournament, yes. And yep, Jay's got Tourney 73 loaded, so he's good to go. Once he readies up in chat, we'll get a countdown going.
Okay, and we're ready to go. 10, 9, 8. Various different numbers because restream delay. We got things a little bit off kilt, but that's okay. And yes, welcome to Will-O-The-Wisps Rando, Ori 2 Rando, if you're familiar with the Ori series at all. We do have a Metroidvania here for you, in which the runners will be chasing around to find skills that are going to allow them to progress to other areas, and so on and so forth, until they can beat the game. The rules for this are very simple. It is go beat Shriek, and just get to the final dungeon so that you can go ahead and you can do that. And the essential thing that the runners are going to be looking for is burrow, basically, because it hard locks them from both entering the final sort of area, and also there's a room in Willow's End that is hard locked by burrow as well. But other than that, it is completely up to the runners whether or not they're comfortable with doing Willow's End. No out of bounds is correct. Was about to mention that. And they are playing on easy, which I did mention. The purposes of that basically are just so that they can, move a little bit faster, do some extra damage boosting, that kind of stuff. So, we'll see how it goes. We're going to get an early left side check here from Jay. Meanwhile, Eiko is elected to just drop directly down. Sword given to both of the runners off the start for convenience sake.
Yep, and it looks like we haven't seen any key items pickups just yet. Yeah, slight route divergence there, but basically there isn't going to be much time difference on that divergence because both runners are definitely going to be checking both of these areas pretty much right away. Now we see Jay moving back to the right to head over to where Eiko is doing her checks. Eiko did skip an item there when she went low, So hopefully she realizes she missed over that spirit light, because that sometimes could be something.
Yeah, there's one actually below Ophir that I ended up missing in a seed not too long ago, and it was Dash, and I was very sad.
And it looks like we have 4 key items in the marsh today from the Lupo hit. So in the randomizer, Lupo will, instead of selling you the maps for the areas, sell you hints telling you how many key items are in the area. Key items are any of the movement abilities, double jump, dash, launch, etc., as well as any of the items that show up on your ability wheel. So all your weapons, hammer, shuriken, things like that. So if one of those items are in the area, it'll show up as a key item in the hint. However, other important items will not show up like that, such as teleporters. So sometimes they can be a little misleading if they say there's nothing there, but the teleporter you need is still hiding in that area. It's also important to note, too, that another key item that exists in the randomizer is clean water. So the state of the game where the water stops being poisonous and is able to be swam in is moved to a pickup in the randomizer, and you can find it scattered around the world, and that'll be a very key pickup for unlocking more of the game later on.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the key differences, the hint system in Ori 2. Just because the game is about twice as big as Ori 1, there are a few hints that exist in the Ori 1 randomizer, but just because of the sheer depth of this game, seeds could range it from anywhere between, like 25 minutes to 4 hours, just because you'd be on the hunt for burrow, basically. So the hints are designed specifically so that you're not doing a full clear and making life a little bit easier. So Jaychalke, behind Aiko right now, has already done this arena and is going to be climbing up and collecting this keystone here. So far, absolutely nothing for the runners. No teleporters, no skills. There's double jump. That opens up a few things, which is kind of nice. I would expect probably a visit over to the Qualix Hollow entrance right now for Aiko.
I think the main thing double jump opens up for our runners is the lower right side of the Inkwater Marsh. The only thing that they're missing to get down there now is keystones, which we'll probably just find naturally as we do a few other checks here, because you need 2 keystones to get through the gate there.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. Ophir, for one, they don't have keystones, and 2, Ophir does sell keystones.
Yep, Ophir does have a couple keystones for sale, so they'll probably pick those up right away. No key items on Ophir today. Or at least not this version of Ophir. There is more items to show up on him later, but...
Yeah. So Aiko does immediately grab those 2 keystones, not too unexpected. Jay here in this combat arena, which unlocks 1 pickup. It is a difficult fight early on with basically nothing else in your skills wheel or inventory to help you out with this. They are playing on easy, so they aren't taking as much damage, which does make this, I think, a slightly better play, but it is still long, and it's going to cost Jay a significant amount of time, especially if it's nothing, and allow Aiko to continue to eke out an advantage here, heading towards Qualix Hollow.
As someone that plays on normal when playing just on my own, I hate this combat shrine, or it's not really a shrine, but I hate this combat zone. It's a nightmare unless you have upgrades. On easy, it's a lot more manageable, but it still can be just a nightmare, even on easy.
Mm-hmm. Sense picked up by Aiko, which is basically just shows secret areas on the map as you're progressing through them. Nice lure here on this Frankie squirrel thing in order to get her to break the floor. Drops down, gets a little bit of extra health for her troubles, and I'll just allow for some potential damage boosting shots, a little bit of safety. And probably, given that there was nothing there on Jaychalke's side, coming up on over a minute advantage here, I would say, for Aiko activating this combat shrine, which is the first one that you see in the vanilla game, and fairly easy to clear out, especially with the extra health that she has.
Yep. For logic purposes in the game, the combat shrines expect you to have regenerate, as well as, I believe, a weapon. So like hammer, shuriken, something like that, and then a certain amount of health. I think it's 4 or 5 health. I don't remember. There is a health requirement in logic for him as well. But this one's easy.
The first one for sure.
Yeah, and so this one's easy enough. We'll see most runners just ducking in here to grab it. Even though it is an out of logic check, regenerate can be really easy to find early on, and so it might as well just get it while you're here.
Yeah, and one of the big things that you want to try and avoid doing in randomizers in general is backtracking. You've seen this talked about probably in Link to the Past randomizers, Ori 1 rando tournaments, Super Metroid rando tournaments, etc. And one of the reasons that it's such an attractive game mode is not only the replay value, but the fact that your execution can be less than your opponent, but just sheer luck and routing. If you got better game knowledge, better routing, it levels the playing field a little bit.
Jay having a little difficulty. I already see the... okay, he got... Oh, no, it did fall in. So that jumping enemy there, I saw it immediately. If he doesn't land squarely on that second platform, he has a nasty tendency to fall into the spikes, and now you have to wait for him to respawn to get the check below the breakable wall down there.
And I'm surprised he's waiting on the respawn here. But it's fairly quick, I suppose.
Yeah, this particular enemy respawns very quickly. It was specifically designed because the vanilla game intends you to lure it over here. Aiko did a quick check of the bow tree and is now heading over to the right side into Qualux Hollow. I don't think anything was picked up at the bow tree.
No, just some money.
Yep. And Jay is jumping into the first combat shrine. Twillin has grapple, and what was the other item? I didn't see it.
We got reckless.
Reckless, okay.
Yeah, and the rest are just kind of resources. So, grapple, the big one, does open up a few checks in the early game in the Inkwater Marsh area. I would not expect to see a backtrack there just yet, because there are also pickups that grapple unlocks further on. However, bow is going to be a bit of a restriction here as well. On Aiko's side, and it looks like she's thinking about it, but has elected to continue up and at least pull this lever and get a few checks down below.
Yeah, bow is going to be key in this seed, it looks like, because we haven't found any teleporters that lets us get around this bow door. So I'd say probably a pretty good chance that somewhere in Inkwater we find bow, although it is entirely possible that that there is a teleporter hiding in just some random pickup somewhere too. So some way we will find a way to get past this. Aiko now heading back to the start of Inkwater, probably to run through some of those grapple checks.
Yeah, exactly. As you pointed out there, there was a nice little recovery there that Aiko took some damage on from that kamikaze slime, and was in danger of being knocked off of the platform, actually, and she utilized the stalling mechanic of the sword slash in order to be able to give herself an opportunity to get back onto the platform. So nice little just small heads up play, an experience thing that you pick up as you play the game a little bit more. Pretty much just resources here so far. Got a little bit of energy, a little bit of health, some Gorlick Ore. Money's starting to climb up a little bit as well. She does have the keystones, probably dropping down to clear up some of these checks, and then, as you alluded to earlier, opening up this door and
Jaychalke is a little short on money to buy grapple. Oh, the Glades TP was also on Twillin. I didn't notice that. So Jay could go over to the Glades now. We might see a pretty big divergence here.
Yeah, that's a interesting decision on Aiko's part. I think that was kind of, they both spent money on some keystones, and Aiko just had a little bit more money to be able to get grapple and elected to go for that instead of the Glades TP, which I think is the smart play. Money is always going to be farmable, but you don't want to do a whole lot of backtracking. So getting that skill, allowing herself to pick up a few more checks in the Inkwater Marsh area while farming up money. She does have the money now to get the Glades TP, so she can go back and grab that whenever she wants.
We also saw Aiko pick up the West Waste teleporter in Inkwater Marsh, so that also is pretty important because, well, it's not as important as the... Wait, West. No, West is the important one because that is right by feeding grounds, and will give you, with grapple, it actually gives you access to a fair amount of checks in the waste without needing burrow. So we may see Aiko make a play into there as well.
Yeah, East Waste I think only gives you 2 checks without burrow, so the West Waste teleporter definitely, as you said, opens up a fair amount more ore on Aiko's side.
And Jay picking up his grapple now from Twillin after moving into the Glades via the teleporter.
Alright, so Aiko is digging deeper down into the start of the game at Inkwater Marsh, checking the magnet pickup here. That is 117 Spirit Lights. Last pickup for Jay. It appears to have been a Gorlick Ore. We're going to see Aiko dropping down. Still not a whole lot really open to the runners in terms of access to additional areas, but still a lot of pickups available to both of them. Aiko probably hoping to find an extra keystone or two here, just to avoid having to make purchases at the shops. If nothing
Jay
else.
going for a pogo strat here to get up above this. Oh, he accidentally killed the slime, so he's probably just gonna. Yep, he's just moving on. It is possible to pogo off that slime with a downward slash, and with double jump, acquire that item that is locked behind bash normally.
It is not a fun pogo to do.
No, I practiced it a little bit last night. And I was like, I gave up it within like a minute. I was like, nope, this is not within my skill level.
It's a little easier if you can time the jumping enemy there, pogo off the slime, then pogo off the jumping enemy type.
Oh
deal.
yeah.
But that takes some work to get used to. More resources here on Eiko's side. Meanwhile, Jay is trailing behind Eiko. That's just one keystone that he has. He does grab the West Waste CP, so he does have that to go for if he wants to as well, but still some extra pickups to find down here. I'm interested to see as this seed progresses what both of these runners are going to be comfortable with in terms of the go mode, because the restriction here isn't significant. It's just get to Shriek and beat Shriek. So it's effectively whatever set of skills that you're comfortable with doing that. And Eiko, I know for sure, has experience in doing sort of what you might call low percent strats. Does not necessarily like to do it, but is capable. Jay, I'm less familiar with.
Something else I wanted to mention is, Eiko got crushed by that rock as it rolled over. I've seen that happen a few times, and it is always not fun. But something else I wanted to mention real quick is that Jay dipped into Glades, got maybe 1 or 2 pickups there, I think, but then he immediately dipped back out, and that's an interesting choice to play because he does have grapple and he does have double jump, and that is basically all the game expects you to have to full clear Wellspring. He could have made a play over to Wellspring. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have bash, so he wouldn't have been able to get over there. I keep forgetting that you have bash to get to Wellspring. So
or sentry jumps or something.
yeah. I mean, you probably could damage boost your way over there, but with this low of health, it would not be fun. So
no, it wouldn't be worth the
what
time.
I said. I understand totally why he came back here.
Yeah, it's the concern I have with that check. To me, indicates nerves that quick teleport to Glades, because it's a 10-second-ish animation. Mm-hmm. You got to teleport there and back, so you're losing 20 seconds doing that for just 2 pickups.
Yeah, and it wasn't that many checks that you could do, and he didn't have the Gorlick ore to like unlock the thorns or anything like that. So he probably was thinking the same thing I was, like, "Hey, I could go to Wellspring," and then realized, "No, I can't."
Yeah. Expecting
this is a very barren seed so far.
Yeah.
We are seeing like almost no key items. I mean, we knew there were only 4 in Marsh, and Marsh is one of the biggest areas in the game. But I would have thought we would have seen at least 1 more pickup by now.
Might be here after the double jump tree, but yeah, it is fairly sparse.
Well, Jay does have enough Gorlick ore now to do some stuff in Glades, so maybe that's what's being expected.
Yeah, with Eiko in the lead, I'm watching her screen at the moment, seeing where she's teleporting. Looks like she is heading back to Inkwater, has fixed her eyes on something that she wants to try and check here.
Oh, it's this early check, I bet.
Oh, is she going for the pogo too? No?
No, she just missed that item twice coming through there, but it's nothing, sadly.
Yeah, so she just want to get that check out.
She's probably very relieved to see that item is nothing important.
Nice heads up play though for presence of mind to be able to recognize that. She did not do this left side check, whereas Jay did, so this is going to be an opportunity here on that double backtrack effectively for Eiko, for Jay to catch up a little bit of time, because he has done that and Eiko has not. Will she go Wastes or Glades? I would probably elect Wastes at this point, as you were talking about earlier, Artemis. Quite a few pickups that are available in Wastes with Grapple.
Yep, looks like right now she's heading back up to the top of Marsh. Might be 1 or 2 things that she's skipped over up there. Jay is just about done clearing out. He just realized he made a mistake. He went to the lower route here. If you have Bash, you could go down there and skip this little combat fight here and still get the item that's on the upper part. But since he doesn't have Bash or any other like launch or upward momentum, he's going to have to fight this little combat encounter here to get the item that is on the top part of this area.
Oh, you know what? I don't think they've checked. There's a energy cell that's behind a grapple door, I believe, that
Uh,
neither of them have picked up yet.
which
Down towards where it's where you would initially encounter Talk or whatever his name is.
That's locked behind Bash. I don't think you can get it with just grapple, at least not in Logic. Aiko is using some of her keystones here to open the. There's a 2 keystone door here in the Howl's Den, which is the lower part of Inkwater Marsh, that has 1 pickup behind it. So this might be something we need. A lot of times, runners will skip this pickup in lieu of the low item density in the area for saving the keystones.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking here too. Is it's 1 pickup that you can get with 2 keystones. Yeah, you don't want to abandon it necessarily. And hammer, interesting. Does open up a few things. Most notably hammer jumps, which are pretty nice, particularly with double jump. But yeah, I'm still thinking one of the teleporters here is probably the play. Stopping this floor open to check this. Very nice. Oh, clean water, that's huge.
Oh boy. Okay, so that hammer pickup immediately unlocked clean water, which unlocks a ton of checks in Inkwater. Jay went over to fight the Hornbug and is going to move into Qualox Hollow here. Now, interesting thing, a choice on Jay's side, though, is that fighting this Hornbug is out of logic because he does not have Regenerate. Or Dash. I think Dash is also expected. So these are technically out of logic checks for Jay, but he might just be thinking that Dash and Regenerate are 2 of the key items sitting in Inkwater Marsh, and he can just safely skip over them. Unfortunately, we know now that 2 of the key items in Inkwater Marsh are Hammer and Clean Water, so we're going to see Aiko now moving to do a lot of the Clean Water checks in Marsh here and see if she can dig out the last key item that's hiding in this area.
Mm-hmm. A couple of checks that neither of the runners could get here in the early going. I don't mind this play at all. Doing a little bit of cleanup before moving on.
Bow.
Oh my.
So
Aiko
the last key item in Marsh is Bow.
Is so far ahead right now. Holy.
I would like to point out too, I didn't realize at first, but I was wondering how Jay got over to Hornbug because that bow door is still locked, and then I remembered that that door opens when you have the Glades TP. It doesn't open, but sorry, let me rephrase that. The door doesn't open, but the Qualox Hollow teleporter is unlocked when you get the Glades TP.
Yeah,
but
so now
sorry, go ahead.
massive portion of the right side is logically open for Aiko as well. The dash and bash areas, fairly vanilla skill set here in terms of the double jump and bow access. So there's dozens of checks available for Aiko now. The West Waste TP is basically going to be forgotten for the time being. On the sheer basis of the density that's available to her. Meanwhile, Jay looks confused about where to go. It's keystones that you need, good sir.
Looks like Aiko's having a little bit of technical trouble. May have crashed. Yeah, it looks like the rando crashed, so Aiko's just firing it back up. This gives Jay a little bit of time to catch up here, which so unfortunately it comes to be a crash, but hopefully Jay can come down and find the key items that he is missing. I know for a fact that Jay likes to skip that location, the 1 pickup location that Hammer was hiding in, and I wonder if he has realized that that is the one area that he has not gone back to.
Yeah, on its own, it's not that significant, but because it is a progression chain from Hammer Clean Water into Bow, pretty much a guarantee at this point that that is the intended method of progressing through the seed, and Jay is stuck unless he decides to go to West Wastes. And I mean, who knows? Launch could be there, right? You could find Bash there, I suppose.
I mean, Launch and Burrow could just be sitting on the first 2 pickups over there. We never know.
And he could decide to just go immediately. So shouldn't necessarily count him out just yet. But it does look like he has remembered this pickup exists, and he's going for it. Aiko is just double checking the Marsh pickups that she does indeed have 4 out of 4 of the key items and can move on.
The one thing to note too is that Jay didn't necessarily make a huge mistake here. Both runners skipped over this item initially, and both runners had to backtrack for it. So Jay is behind a little bit by virtue of doing some other extra checks and trying to perform some tricks, and maybe be getting a little confused as to where the seed wanted him to go. But because of this being randomizer, I wouldn't count either of our runners out at this point. There is a lot of potential for the seed still opening up for both our runners, and things could change in a heartbeat.
Yeah, by no means, trash talking the decisions of either of the runners here. It's just the way it goes. You make your decisions, and sometimes you're right, and sometimes you're wrong. The key is that you want to try and route efficiently and do the good play, I should say, even though it may not necessarily turn out to be the correct play. And I think, for the most part, the runners have been kind of following that mentality of just trying to hammer through some dense checks quickly before figuring out where logic wants them to go. So Jay is catching up in terms of some pickups. He does have clean water now and hammer, but we'll still need to be digging a little bit further for that bow to get access over here.
He did opt, so Jay, even though he picked up clean water, opted to come down here and do another hammer check. This combat shrine is locked behind hammer, so he's going to check this and see if the other key item is here. But we all know now that where he needs to go is going to be the clean water checks in Upper Marsh.
And we'll see if Aiko does it looks like she is indeed going to stand on the pressure plate and then teleport out. Save a little bit of time.
Yep, this trick involves standing on this pressure plate, which opens the door, and then when you teleport out, since the door is open, the game considers that to be it thinks that you have placed the rock there to open it. So the next time you go back down there, as we'll see shortly on Aiko's screen, the rock will be on that pressure plate, and you'll be able to just move through this area without completing all the bow puzzle nonsense to get the rock down there normally.
Yeah, basically what it does is that it changes the game state. And when you teleport far enough away to unload the scene, it doesn't correct that state. So it just assumes that you've done it. A couple hammer jumps here from Aiko. Very nice. Bypassing the bow puzzle portion. It's an advanced camp there.
So Jay, not finding anything on that combat shrine, is now probably moving back up to do the clean water checks, and he will shortly find his bow.
So the trick to this hammer jump is just timing, basically. Double jump, hammer, repeat that, but it's a little bit finicky in terms of its timing. If you try and do like an even 1-1 rhythm, it's not going to work out too well for you. You kind of have to syncopate it a little bit.
Yeah, the timing's a little tight, and there's a few different ways to pull it off, with a couple different ways that you can do inputs. You can do animation cancels with the hammer to kind of buffer your jumps. You could also just kind of go for it and do a bufferless strat and just jump and hammer. Eco finding Blaze in lower Qualock here. That's not a super important key item, but it is a key item nonetheless.
It's key in the sense that you have found it, and now you can forget about it, and that is key information.
Oh, but Bash!
Okay, yep. Now, so we've got basically the entire left side of the map open, especially with clean water. Wellspring is full clearable, and a whole bunch of checks available. This also technically would put Aiko in a position to be able to finish the game once she finds Burrow, but it is not a comfortable skill set with which to do it.
I'm sorry, I got distracted because the tracker dropped for a second. What did Aiko just pick up? Say that that last part one more time.
Last Stand.
Last Stand is very good. Okay, awesome. And yes, tracking should be back now, everybody. And Jay did pick up his bow and is now moving up to Qualock to open that area up and do his bow checks.
Yeah. And Finesse as well.
And yes, Bash. Eco did get Bash. I touched on it briefly, but yeah, that opens up a ton. And like we were talking about, it's probably it's one of the key things for Go mode for most people. You can avoid the key thing in Willow's End that requires Bash by using Spike, and there's a couple. I think there might be a couple other tricks that can skip it too, but
yeah,
Bash is the intended way and probably the simplest way to get around that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if this was me and obviously Burrow was in play. I would be waiting for maybe triple jump or glide, and then I would probably be comfortable trying to finish the game.
I think triple jump and glide are probably the main things that most people would want to try to finish the game with just hammer jumps.
Yeah.
Triple jump really makes it a lot simpler to move through the verticality sections of Willow's End with the hammer jump trick. Double jump is doable, but it is a lot tighter.
Yeah. Definitely good to see both runners digging. I mean, you would have to basically be willing to play the equivalent of 4A1 Master Seeds, I think, to try and finish with this skill set, and it would probably be slow, so do expect some digging here to continue. Again, still a lot of the right side of the map. Jay catching up a little bit, in part thanks to that crash, but also seems like he's kind of just settling into being a little bit more comfortable, but still a few minutes behind Aiko, to be sure.
And Aiko utilizing those hammer jumps again to finding the Wellspring TP. That's actually pretty huge, and that skips getting that item skips needing dash to get through these thwomps on the right side here. So while technically an out of logic check, it does unlock the Wellspring now. Well, the Wellspring was already open, but
it's faster, basically, is what it is, because
exactly.
It's extremely slow to clear Wellspring from bottom to top, in comparison to going from top to bottom. There's just the way that you can route it is so much more efficient. Aiko trying to do this dash lock check here. Give it a couple attempts and will bail. Don't blame her. Fairly tough to do, and I believe, funnily enough, if you don't have dash, it actually locks you in there and you have to teleport out. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a very weird little quirk of the game. If you don't have dash and you manage to get down below the thwomps where the item is hiding there, you can't jump out for some reason. It's very strange.
Aiko, you can just double jump and then, yeah, there you go. She's got it now. I'm trying to refresh the jump on the wall there. Electing to just bypass it. Okay, checking Ofer. Ofer has Bounty, Keystone, Gorlick, or upgraded Hammer, which would be nice for a couple arenas, but otherwise not required. Electing to go with the resources. I like it. I like it. Jay, meanwhile, is wrapping up the lever puzzle section to lower the water here in Qualic's Hollow. Looks like Aiko's trying to decide whether or not to go for that check again or go up to... oh yeah, there's a little questy dude. Oh, regenerate. That's a nice safety for Aiko.
Yeah, that regenerate is another thing that we didn't talk about earlier, but for doing launchless Willow's End, regenerate, while not necessary, is very, very good to have. So
okay, I was just about to say, I haven't seen Aiko use grapple in a bit, just because of the location of the grapple lanterns, especially once you have dash, it is very easy to forget that you have grapple.
I'm surprised that Aiko didn't go up and check the item on the escape, because they have clean water, so that running the escape is not required to get that item, because it's considered complete when you have clean water.
Yeah, that might just be a density thing, and not wanting to have to... Do you have to you don't have to teleport back after that, right? When you have
No, you can just head right back down.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, maybe just she was having some trouble with the hammer jumps there, maybe lost a bit of confidence, I would say, is probably the only thing. Either that or just rando brain. That is totally...
Yeah, that's fair. I think you don't even need a hammer jump to get up there, though. I think you just need grapple.
Mm-hmm. Overcharge,
but like you said, may have forgotten that grapple.
Yeah, ultra grapple, which lets you grapple off enemies. Most people won't be using that. Jaychalke, meanwhile, we are seeing Divergence. He has decided to not head towards Wellspring and is instead going to check some wastes. As alluded to earlier, a lot of pickups here are available with grapple. So could be interesting here to see if Burrow's in one of these locations, then you're definitely going to see an edge one side or the other, but these grapple lanterns being obnoxious on Aiko's side just can't get the targeting to work for her.
This play on Jay, I like this play because he didn't pick up that Wellspring TP out of logic, I don't think. And
No.
so that Wellspring TP could be a bit of a red herring. Now, granted, you could get to Wellspring without the TP. It's completely in logic right now. But, you know, the TP kind of goes, hey, you should go here, you know, in terms of like your own routing thought process.
Yeah, it puts it at the forefront of your brain for sure.
So, you know, there could be something here for Jay that will turn the tide here.
Ico Bash Glide techniques from Ori 1. You can get a double jump first before the hammers. It's fine. Okay, well, gets it anyway for a Gorlick ore. Dropping now to do a few of the clean water checks here. Secret door. I believe there's only the one pickup. Yeah, it's only the one, and gets it with a very nice hammer jump, saving quite a bit of time getting that. Excellent technique there from Ico.
Jay is moving through with the checks here. He's got a few more left that can be obtained without Burrow, including he should be able to also check. It'll be out of logic, but he could go get the Lupo hint, which will tell him if there's any key items in this area. But he is going to go up here and get this. I don't even know what you'd want to call it. The projectile puzzle with the breakable sand walls. But he's having a little bit of trouble with the hammer jump to get up on that wall.
You can do just a wraparound double jump on that.
Yeah, you can. You can also just go there. You got it with the double jump. You can also just go pull the switch if you really just feel like defeated.
Very true. You still have one sand block left there, Jay.
So
gonna
he's
wait it
good
out?
actually. Yeah, if you wait, the projectile will actually just destroy the sand blocks while you hang on that wall. Ico finding Flap below the Wellspring gears on the lower part there.
That signals to me a possibility for backdoor feeding grounds from waste.
It also signals they don't have Feather yet, so Flap, while useful to get over there, I don't think without Feather it wouldn't be in logic. However, what that does open up is Bower's Reach.
Yes.
So that could be a important find.
Still a lot of checks here though for Ico in Wellspring. The mill itself. Jay looks like he's going to want to try and hammer jump up to one more pickup here before checking the Vanilla Burrow location.
There are 5 key items in Wellspring. We just saw the hit from Lupo. That is insane.
Yeah, Aiko's going to be here for a bit, that's for sure. There's no way that she's going to be abandoning 3 more key items.
Yeah, this is going to be a full clear of Wellspring in all likelihood. Meanwhile, Jay's getting the hint for the wastes, and no key items in wastes. Oh, that hurts to see that when you just spent all that time already clearing a bunch of stuff. So Jay's just going to grab this tree, get whatever's there, and probably make the play over to Wellspring now.
Yeah, probably. Shard slot, very nice for convenience. Haven't seen Jay equip any shards, actually. That might be a good reminder to him. I would not be surprised... Excuse me. Throat's dry today. I would not be surprised for Ico to chain this into like a Luma pool / as Bobby's is saying in chat, Midnight Burrows possibility. There's especially with clean water, you can avoid a lot of backtracking right now with this skill set.
Yep. And yeah, Midnight Burrows is a play that is easily forgotten if you don't pick up the teleporter. Jay just now finding his bash. He just skipped it when he was in lower Qualock earlier. So he was literally right there and just didn't go down and get it. So now he came back and got bash.
Yeah, it would have been helpful in wastes, would have sped him up a little bit, but otherwise that hasn't really, like, in terms of his choice to go to waste in the first place, didn't really gate him from a whole lot. I'm hoping though that for his sake it signifies him that, yeah, okay, Wellspring's completely open, maybe I should go see what's there.
I think that's the key thing, is that he probably wasn't considering Wellspring in logic, and now that he has bash, it absolutely is. So hopefully that indicates to him that he needs to head over here and get whatever's over here.
So he's trying to lure this mosquito in order to be able to shoot that that arrow light there. You don't need to do that. You can actually just bait the crusher, and then climb on top of the crusher, and you're good to go.
Yeah, the mosquito tech is maybe a little bit easier if the mosquito cooperates, but
Oh, you know what? I think he did shoot it. He was trying to get through the crushers. So there's a trick from Ori 1 that exists there where you can climb on top of the crushers all the way across.
Yep.
And then all you have to do is basically duck underneath. My apologies. I mistracked what he said, and I interrupted you.
Oh, you're fine. I just think I was just saying that I think I think using bash on the mosquito when it cooperates is a little bit easier than climbing on top of the crushers. So that might have been why he was trying to do it that way.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. So about halfway through the well, I would say, for Eiko at this juncture. Still looking for 3 more key items here, and a lot of checks available still. This is annoying and slow to get out of.
Yeah, Wellspring is one of the larger. It's probably the second largest zone in this game, next to Inkwater Marsh, and followed by probably really close with Bower's Reach, I would say. So there's a lot of checks here, and it can take quite a while to route your way through here. And there's a lot of different ways to route it too. So
yeah, for sure. Jay did elect to spend money on the hint, knowing that he has 2 more key items that he can find here, which is unfortunate given the circumstances of what we know as viewers. What he needs to do is head into the Wellspring area, and so now he knows he's missing 2 items, and so he's going to spend more time full clearing this.
do we know what those 2 items are? I don't think we do. It could. There's a possibility that something that's important that Eiko skipped over too.
Yeah,
I think one of them's Blaze, but the other one I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Eiko left at 2-3 with Blaze. Did pick up Ancestral Light here in the
Jay's
mill,
gonna get his Wellspring TP here.
which will be nice for the Shriek fight. Help that go a little bit faster.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there.
No, that's okay. You're good. And these grapple lanterns.
So Jay's gonna find out here though that they're basically all the rest of the key items in Qualix Hollow are probably locked behind these swamps, which are locked behind Dash. And there is ways through it without Dash, but it is not fun. These swamps do not cooperate the way those other ones do.
Mm-hmm. Ancestral Light being one of the key pickups here for Eiko, so now 3 out of 5 in Wellspring. This will be a match to face off against the wonderful Dr. Toon, who has just showed up in chat. Winner of this match goes on to face him in the winner's bracket. Meanwhile, we're going to have the loser's bracket with King and you, I believe, Artemis.
Yep, I'll be facing the loser of this match, and we'll probably do that probably shortly after this. It hasn't been discussed yet, but yeah, most likely that'll be shortly following this race.
There you go. Yeah, so loser faces Artemis, winner goes to face Dr. Toon. So this is the last area really here for Jay to check in Qualix Hollow. I don't believe Eiko came this direction, so that's probably where this key item is hiding, I would suspect.
Yeah, I believe you're right. I don't think Eiko came up this way. Jay may also make a play into Silent Woods here. If he goes over with clean water, you could go over to the right side of Qualok and just dive down into Silent Woods. I think he has everything to get over there. The only other thing you need, I think, is Bash. So, actually, I don't even know if you need Bash.
For Silent Woods, no.
Yeah, there's a breakable wall underwater, but I don't think you have to bash the projectile into it. So
you can just hang there.
That's right. Yep. So Jay is getting the clean water checks underneath Qualok here. There's like 3 checks here that are pretty quick and close together. So, good chance that the key item he's missing is hiding down here.
Eiko, meanwhile, cleaning up the combat arena to advance Wellspring further. Looks like we're gonna see some hammer floats from Jay to try and get this pickup here. You do need to do, a back jump off of that right side wall, because otherwise you just can't get the height on your second jump. But he bails on it, doesn't want to spend too much time on it. I don't disagree with that decision.
Nope, it's out of logic anyways, so...
And King, just so you know, that is completely fine if you can't do your match today. Jay had talked about it earlier. No pressure. We're willing to wrap this thing up tomorrow if needs be.
Aiko did find the West Woods teleporter in the Wellspring, so that's a handy teleporter just for ease of access. Getting to the woods could be a bit of a hike if you don't have a teleporter there. So if there's something in woods that we need to get, that does save some time.
Yep. I wouldn't expect it's a. While there are a decent amount of pickups there, without Feather, it's kind of annoying, or launch at least, to do Silent Woods. I would expect that's going to probably end up being abandoned for the time being, just on the sheer basis of density.
So Aiko doing something here that I've done a couple times in the Wellspring, being able to move those levers very quickly, avoiding a lot of the normal like puzzle around the area that you never intended to do. I actually have not, and maybe this is a question you could answer, Shafe. I don't know what allows you to do that, because the last time I played a seed the other night, I would try to do that, but all the blocks were in place for the water beams that were blocking me from moving to those quick lever pulls. I don't know if there's a certain state of the game, like clean water or something, that opens that up, but
Yeah, it's clean water that removes some of the jets.
it is clean water. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, so with clean water and Wellspring, you can move through that rotating room a lot quicker, is basically the point I was trying to make.
Another check here at shops in town for Jaychalke. Kind of interested to see where he's gonna go from here. Looks like he might do the sort of intended access over to Wellspring after clearing out some Glades pickups.
Yeah, and there are a few more Glades pickups on the way, so he might opt to just grab those along the way and get some of those items. He's also going to go ahead and get some more of the pickups here in Glades down below the water and stuff. I don't think we've seen either runner check the Lupo hint for Glades or Woods, so I think Jay is about to make that play here. Aiko, meanwhile, turning in the compass to our friend Talk, who likes to hide burrow, it seems. Oh, and this time he has Water Dash.
Ooh.
That bird, he's always got something, I swear.
Yeah, so this is more than likely a Lumapool's play for Maiko at this point, I would say.
So Jay bought the hints. I saw Glades had 3 key items, and he had one of them, which was Grapple. I did not see the Woods hint, however. So if anyone in chat caught that, you can let us know.
I just saw the map, I didn't see it myself. Tuin will always check the bird after yesterday's one.
Yeah, that bird, I've had him had key items so many times. He has a lot of different pickups. Like he has so many things that you can turn into him across the game, and I don't know why, but he keeps being the gatekeeper for my seeds. I guess it's the old video game adage that birds are jerks still applies.
You know, if I were you and I got burned that many times, I wouldn't want to talk about it.
That's terrible, but I love it.
I go bailing on Luma, actually. That's interesting. Possible heal here, or... Oh no, some other underwater pickups around the Wellspring area that I forgot about.
Yep, Jay's opting to basically full clear Glades here to get those last 2 pickups. He's going to do as much as he can here to try and find those. And Glades is another pretty big area, so there's a lot of pickups scattered around here. A lot of these checks, the upper area, might be considered out of logic, but it's worth a check anyways.
Yeah, definitely accessible. I don't disagree with this either on the sheer basis of the amount of Gorlick ore that they ended up discovering by the time they had access to Glades. So definitely not a bad decision from Jay. I myself probably still would have gone to Wellspring, but it hasn't really paid off other than the Water Dash here for Aiko all that much. Does enable her to get a few extra checks that she's cleaning up. I think I see what she's doing. She's reversing back into Glades.
Yep.
Picking up the water checks.
Water Breath on Jay's side down in the lower part of Glades. So that's one of the 2 key items.
Oh, Depths TP. Ooh.
Ooh,
Gross.
that's always nasty to find.
And they have what they need to be able to do depths too.
Yeah, mostly all you really are required with logic is grapple. And they have bow, so they can full clear it, the checks that logically require flash. So
Yeah, and Ico does pick up the water breath as well. Nice convenience thing. There are a few puzzles in Luma that can get a little bit hairy without being able to breathe underwater. But yeah, with Bow, for those of you who aren't aware, it refreshes the darkness timer in Molded Depths. So you can traverse it pretty much at will. And with double jump and bash and grapple, it's a bit of a maze, but it's a pretty easy set of pickups to clear. And you've got clean water as well. So you can go check all of those. Although it would require defeating Mora, which isn't as big a deal on easy, but still a time sink. I think that would depend on the Lupo hint and how many key items are there to check for the runners.
what would you have to defeat Mora to get access to?
The clean water pickups, because they aren't lit.
Oh, yeah, one of them you can get without lighting, because there is actually enough light under the water that you could just barely make it. But yeah, the other one you would have to defeat Mora or find Flash.
Yeah, or find Flash, yep.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can never remember which of the 2 water pickups you can get without it, but one of them is definitely doable without Flash. I don't know if the this is an interesting logic question, but I don't know if the logic considers beating Mora as a valid way to light those areas, or if it always wants you to have Flash.
I believe...
Well, no, because you wouldn't be able to beat Mora without Flash logically, so it would require you to have
Yeah.
Flash. Yeah.
Swap, thanks for the raid, buddy. Appreciate it. Hope your stream went well. Ico having a little bit of trouble with the dash out of the water up there, but does get it eventually for $174. Jay did not do this combat shrine on the first pass through Ink Water, so I'm clearing it out now.
Oh, this is actually the Glades combat shrine.
Oh, okay. Whoops. My bad.
No, you're good.
I
don't
just
think
glanced
Ico's
over,
done
saw
this one
combat
either.
shrine in green, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
Glades hints.
Oh, we could get to see the woods hint now. Let's see what it says. No, 2 key items in woods. Interesting. So that actually might be a good play here. Did we ever? So I missed it, but I know Ico mostly cleared out Wellspring and got Water Dash. But were we still missing a key item or 2?
2,
in
I
Wellspring?
believe. Yep,
Yeah.
I
So
think she
that's
got 3 or
interesting.
5.
That could mean that the hand-to-hand turn-in is another one, and I'm not sure what else Ico skipped without seeing her map, but that is interesting.
Yeah, so she's going to be now retreading some of the ground that Jay has done here over in Qualix. I don't know why people are hammer jumping that. It's a really easy double jump off the wall. Yeah,
Hammer jumps are infectious, and once you learn how to do them, it's...
You can't stop, won't stop?
Yep, can't stop.
Okay, fair enough.
You should have seen Jay immediately after he did his Plando the other day. The seeds immediately following, he couldn't stop grenade jumping.
I definitely cannot stop grenade jumping in Ori 1. It's really fun. So
Grenade hovering is probably the better term, but yes.
Yeah, in Ori 2, it's more like grenade floating. Ultra Grapple for Jay. Looks like he's going to be heading off into the Wellspring area while Ico covers ground that Jay did in Qualix. We're going to see some treading over familiar territory on either side of your screen right now. You still haven't really found that key bit of progression that would allow runners to finish unless they just decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna try and get hints for Burrow.
I think that might be the play that Ico's trying to make right now. Is she's at 3,000 Spirit Light, so 4,000 Spirit Light you could buy a hint from Lupo in the Glades to tell you what area of the game that Burrow is hiding in. So Ico, it might be opting here to just go ahead and get some high density areas to try and get enough pickups that will give her the Spirit Light that she needs to just buy that hint and figure out where she needs to go next.
Yeah, and to that point, I think you're right. When she picked up the Spirit Light off of the tree there, she immediately moused over the spirit light icon in the top right to indicate that she was at about 3,500 at that point, 36 now. Heading towards Moldwood Depths and the one pickup that's over here. So yeah, I think that you're probably right. She's probably at this juncture thinking, you know, maybe I'm behind. I've sunk a lot of time already into doing a bunch of checks. I have the ability to do what I need to do and Willow's End, but I just don't have Burrow. So I would not be too surprised at all if you're correct in that assertion.
Jay finding Flap in the Wellspring now, so he is moving through these checks pretty quickly. Worth mentioning again that Flap does unlock about 4 checks of items that are hidden under leaf piles strewn about the game. Most of those are in Silent Woods, and then there is one in the Glades as well. So we may be looking at a situation where that Flap is a very important pickup and is needed to get one of those leaf pile items.
Looks like Jay is going to be teleporting out of Wellspring. Again, I'm a little bit surprised here that Luma hasn't been considered yet by either runner. Ooh, this might be key for Jay. Is he going to do what I think he's going to do? Okay, he's going to try and hammer jump for this pickup here. Does get it. It's just 78 bucks, and he also has the clean water check up here, which Aiko skipped. This could potentially be a big moment for Jay if he goes for it. So
Yep.
far,